Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for my end of winter garden tour. I'm just going to jump straight in. Not the garden, but the house. You'll notice that some of the house is painted. If you watch our vlogs, you would have already seen all of that. This hollyhocks is paint splattered, but seems quite healthy and happy, and I think the purple blooms will look so nice against the new grey paint. In this bed, I've cleared out most of everything that was in here. There's some purple passion left, and I've sowed poppies. So I don't know how much of these seedlings are poppies coming up and how much are weeds. I guess time will tell. This is my little dwarf hydrangea. It seems to be coming alive. And the Linaria is self-sowed from last year. I wasn't going to do it again this year because it was a lot of work sowing and pricking those out, but they self-sowed, so I didn't have to. These calendula need to be pulled out. This is how this little side garden is looking. As you can see, I haven't painted yet. This is going to be the next side that gets done. My Daphne is blooming so beautifully, and it smells so strong. If you come up the driveway, you can smell it. And it's just so nice at the end of winter to have things blossoming and blooming. Over here I have Phacelia that's self-seeded, and that's come up. My white rose. I have some dwarf roses here. They seem to be, oh, this is not a rose, this is an Escalonia that seems to be growing, putting on some new growth. These are my little dwarf roses. They've kind of never really settled in well yet. But then again, I don't really know all that much about tending roses, and I just do the best I can and hope for the best. This Daphne bush started dying on this side, so I just cut out all of the dead pieces. The rest of it seems mostly happy. There's some yellowing leaves. I don't know what's going on with it, but as you can see, it's blooming very well. Heaps of weeds. So that is the little stump of the Acer. We took off the broken top part, and this bottom part has kind of resprouted, so I guess we're going to have a miniature Acer. Loads of weeds. Still haven't painted the bench. I'm going to do that this spring. I'm going to paint it white. There's our Corfi, our citizenship tree. It is growing very well. It has recovered, which I'm very happy about. Most of this is grass and weeds growing in here, but I have sown Phacelia, so I don't know. This is a hollyhocks. That is my bluish purple lace cap hydrangea, bridal bouquet hydrangea, self-seeded Phacelia, and Linaria, which is blooming beautifully. So I've not had to put any of that in. It's just taking care of itself, because my goal this season is to not waste any time on annuals. Not that it's a waste of time, but I have so much that I need to do in the garden in terms of putting in structure and perennials and shrubs. I just need to focus on that. That is a blue hydrangea. I don't know what variety. Bridal bouquet hydrangea. This is self-seeded chrysanthemum Mary mix. My hydrangeas are all coming back to life, which is very exciting. That means summer is coming. Weeds, dianthus, self-seeded Linaria. I'm so pleased that this came up, because like I said, I wasn't going to sow any, and it's just like a gift. I've got some hollyhocks there. My osteospermum does not look happy, probably because I never cut it back. So I may give it a good butchering and then see what happens, because it's generally pretty hardy and it keeps putting out more runners and new growth, which, you know, you can propagate. I've planted it elsewhere in the garden, but I think this just needs like a good butchering. And that's another bridal bouquet hydrangea. So this bed is looking actually pretty nice, especially if you look from the end here. That's kind of how I wanted it, kind of full and lush, and the pinks and purples. So I haven't really done anything there except for stuck in these weird lily things. The cabbage tree is constantly shedding. These were just, I found them somewhere in the garden and moved them to here as placeholders, but they're quite nice. I like the variegated leaves and the fullness of it. I've got some cyclamen tucked in there, some violets, which are spreading nicely. I'm hoping they'll bloom well. This is the stock that just keeps on giving. This dwarf stock is supposed to be annuals, but this is like the 3rd year running that they're just blooming ever since I planted them. They haven't stopped blooming all year round, which is amazing. Got some forget-me-nots in there, cyclamen. These grasses were also in the garden and I just put them in as placeholders. And then I have a rogue calendula, which is messing up my color scheme, which kind of is growing through there. More cyclamen. This is my Brunnera Jack Frost. I just cut it right back because it wasn't looking great, and it's coming back nicely. My hosta comes up there. You can see the sticks. I kind of left them to remind me where it is. Some more cyclamen tucked in there. And then in the front here I have, you can't see it now because it's dormant, but I have a dahlia that comes up, but I'm actually going to move that because it's obviously getting crowded out by this plant. Here is this little garden area. I want to put some pots in the corner there. We have a couple of pots there, but I guess I'll finish up in that area. So in this raised bed we had the Acer. I took a chance on it, but it did not get on with the wind and it died. So we actually ended up putting in this red robin, this Photinia, because we had an extra one left over and it was there, but it was getting too big and it was right next to the olive. So Grant moved it here just as a placeholder until we decide what we actually want to grow here. I don't want to leave this here because they get really, really big and I just feel like I'm going to be constantly pruning it. And also we wanted more of a tree just for a bit of extra privacy when we have guests, when they want to use the deck, but I didn't want a bush, like I didn't want fullness at the bottom. So I'm going to try and limb up this and make it more of a tree in the meantime. So in here I have oreganum, which is like spreading everywhere, and some weeds, the last of the echinacea that I haven't cut down. We have alyssum. This is all candy tuft that's self-seeded from last year. This is obviously all going to need attention in spring. Lavender. This is weeds and pyrethrum. I'm going to take all of this out. I took the pyrethrum out there. I'm not a big fan of the yellowy tones and it's looking a bit straggly and just not its best. I've got some tulips starting to come up and some anemones flowering. So beautiful. So I put those bulbs in last year. Lots of weeds. The weather's been so bad I just had zero interest in getting out here. That's a dwarf hydrangea. More lavender. The grass that was just in the garden, I just kept it there. I'm going to take out all of these dianthus. Got some more anemones coming up here. This scabiosa has been there for ages. It seems happy it's about to start blooming. And this path needs to be ripped up, and in the meantime I'm going to put mulch down just because this is such a hazard. Noah's already turned his ankle running over this path. It's all just rotting. We had such a wet winter 2 years ago. I had hoped to get a few more years out of the path than we have, but I knew it was going to rot away eventually. So ideally in a perfect world I'd put cobbles there, like nice flat cobblestones, but we just got to think about what's most practical and what's most cost effective, and we're probably just going to end up putting a concrete path in. This bed's pretty bare. There's some calendula. This pyrethrum may leave, I may take out. Some more anemones coming up. Isn't that gorgeous? I just am so happy when I see signs of spring. Lavender, scabiosa. This is a Nandina Firepower that eventually will be quite big, and that goes red in the winter. Some more tulips coming up there. Hollyhocks. My Virginia creeper is still dormant, no signs of life. I have lavender major interspersed with English lavender along there. These are ranunculus that are starting to come up here. That's a foxglove that's self-seeded. This is an escallonia. It's doing so well. I talked about this in my 5 favorite plants video that I did with Robin Johnson. So click on over there if you want to hear what I have to say about escallonias. All this dianthus I'm going to take out this year. This half moon bed is looking a bit straggly, but I love that it's starting to fill in with the escallonia and the pieris. That is my beautiful hydrangea that starts out lime green and goes to deep purple. I absolutely love it, and I wish I could remember what variety it is. Got some hollyhocks in there, and then this is another Nandina Firepower. This one went nice and red. And I have a couple of azaleas, just evergreen dwarf azaleas in there, and they look like they're about to flower, which is very exciting. I only planted them a few weeks ago. There's my greenhouse. There's a bit of action starting in there. I am going to do a greenhouse tour, I promise. I need to get to the beach and get sand to finish my floor, and that's the biggest hold up. Plus I need to paint the door. I may actually just end up filming the tour without doing those two things. We shall see. This is our plum tree behind me that is starting to blossom. Like, it's just started to blossom and sprout, and that's very exciting to me. I am so over this winter. I'm so ready for spring. In this little side bed, I have some cyclamen, a couple of foxgloves. I have some tulips coming up. Haven't really put anything into here. This is kind of a shaded bed, and I love shade gardening. I've just had other things that I've been concentrating on, like getting shrubs into the garden, but I definitely need to do this soon. My boots are looking a bit straggly with just leftover odds and ends. This bed, I need to cut back this succulent. It's looking a bit worse for wear. Have another succulent there, not looking great. Loads of scabiosa, starting to bloom actually. As you can tell, it has been raining, and it's actually starting to rain now, so I may have to do this in two bits. Self-seeded calendula, my arctotis is starting to bloom. That's a foxglove. I think that's campanula. And then I have a hellebore that hasn't bloomed. Some more cyclamen, and then round there I stuck in a piece of osteospermum that seems to be quite happy. And that's another foxglove. And then turning this way, I'm gonna have to go undercover or get an umbrella because it's starting to rain. Okay, I have an umbrella. That's dedication. I'm filming this for you guys in the rain. This is bok choy that has gone to seed, and in between I have a couple of purple cabbages, and they are starting to heart up, which is very exciting because nothing much is going on in the rest of my potager. This bed has some carrots, I think. Yeah, there's carrots in there, but there's plenty of weeds and grass as well. This has some brassicas, cauliflower, cabbages, broccoli. I don't know what's where. If I say brassicas, it's one of the three of those, and I have them in that bed, in that bed, in that bed, in the far bed, in the back middle bed. They're everywhere. Here is the back door of my greenhouse, and what I call the courtyard garden, which is what the guest house looks onto. My Hebe lavender lace is looking beautiful. That's blooming. Hebes are super hardy. They just take anything. They take wind, drought, whatever you give them. That foxglove reaching under the bench there. Another Nandina Firepower at the back. The plant in the middle is a penstemon. Got another Hebe lavender lace in the back corner. Haven't done a whole lot here. There's some tulips coming up from last year. This bed has a couple of bok choy and just some weeds. I've got garlic in a row at the end of this bed and nothing much else. I did seed some things like swede and whatnot, but they haven't really come up. Oh, having said that, that looks like a few of them there. Maybe they have come up. Okay, I haven't really been out in the garden much, as you can tell, because the weather's been appalling. This is more brassicas. Oh look, I didn't even know that my broccoli had grown that big. Wow, okay, that's exciting. That's how long it's been since I've been out here. More purple cabbages hearting up. Very exciting, we're discovering this together. My Photinia or red robin hedge is growing beautifully, very pleased with that. It will get super tall. It's going to be as tall as that, so hopefully we won't have to look at the neighbor's garage anymore. Let's see what else is going on here. Anything? Anything? I haven't got a spare hand to part the leaves and see what's growing in there. This bed has more brassicas, they're not growing. This bed, nothing that I put in there grew. I put in like lettuce and spinach and things like that, and peas, and haven't grown. This whole bed is leeks. Some of it I planted, some are from last year that they kind of self-seeded early in the season, and some have self-seeded like this later in the season. That bed I've got some peas struggling along, and again I put in things like swedes and beetroot, and they haven't grown. The berry cage is full of weeds. My blueberries are still struggling along, they've never been happy. Just give an overview of where we are in case you're new here. This is my shade garden. I took out the little brick path. I decided I'm not actually going to put a bench there. I just don't think any of us will use it. I'm putting other seating in different areas of the garden. So this geranium pretty much blooms all year round. I have some cyclamen, those two. That's a heuchera. That's an osteospermum. Just odds and ends. I have some hydrangeas, a fern, a hollyhocks. Over here, this is a china pink loropetalum. And some odds and ends that are not quite established yet. This lamium is blue and this one is pink, white. One of them is blue and one of them is white. I can't remember which is which. Still junk back there. Have some blossoms left on this apple tree. These here are my hazelnut trees. They have not given us any hazelnuts since I chopped them back, but I'm still hopeful. This is an apple tree that got cut down, but it's resprouted. We have olive trees that were cut down, and we kind of keep them as bushes, but they need to all be cut back. And just a lot of straggly trees here that need addressing. On the back wall is our grapevine. You can kind of just see it there. No leaves yet. And then this bed, I know it's kind of a weird shape. Hang on, let me wedge my umbrella so I can show you. So it comes like that and back on itself. Eventually it's going to continue here, but I just wanted to stop cutting out beds because I had nothing to put into it. This is an old peach tree that was kind of dead. It seems to have come back. I don't think it's ever going to really bear. I'm actually considering growing a clematis all over it, which will eventually kill it. But at least we'll have the clematis. I don't know, I haven't decided. This, I can't actually remember what all of this is, and now I'm thinking it's campanula. So I'm starting to get a few flower spikes, so I guess time will tell. Nothing much going on here. So that's where the red robin was that we moved to in front of the screen. Hollyhocks along the back, camellias in front of them. There's one that kind of got knocked and it's just sprouting back over there, and I can't decide if I should replace it or not. This is perennials here. This is like bergamot and things that will come back, just not looking great yet. Loads of rogue strawberries all over. These are the strawberry plants that just want to keep on putting out more runners and more plants and not actually berries, but I don't mind because at least it's not weeds. This is a viburnum. This is a Christmas box, loropetalum. Isn't it beautiful? It's just so nice to look at and see the color, even when it's not flowering, which it is at the moment. Just the color of the foliage is so lovely to me. Another Christmas box. There. Another viburnum. This is a little mandarin tree. And then nothing much. The bed just kind of ends there. I got some clumps of snowflakes. I thought these were snowdrops, but I have since learned that they are not. They are snowflakes. They are not the same as galanthus, which is the snowdrops, which have kind of 3 petals. But they're so pretty. Mulch pile, dead tree, the oak tree, loads and loads of firewood. There's our pear tree and 2 apple trees, and they're just about to burst into blossom, hopefully. And the cork oak, which is looking very bare on this side, as is the oak, because there used to be like more trees here just crowding them out. Okay, I always miss out on this bed, so I'm going to start here and work back. I've pulled everything out of here. We had alyssum pastel carpet all the way through the front, but I pulled everything out. I'm probably going to put a little shrub at the end and then some kind of low growing plant in the front of the step and sort this bed out. But I haven't done it partly because, well, the weather's been crap, but I haven't really made plans to do this because we want to get our patio put in like from there to there. But we wanted the same height as that step, and we're just going to get a concrete pad poured. We were going to build a deck, but I think it's going to just be too expensive and too much maintenance, whereas we could just pour concrete. Okay, here is my little washing line garden and a random mirror, yes. More of that dwarf stock, the gift that just keeps giving. It doesn't stop blooming ever. I love it. I should put more in. Although it's supposed to be an annual, but it's not. Not in my garden. And then there's nothing much here. I had asters here last year. Some alyssum that survived. Some lamb's ear that or dusty miller, or whatever that is, that I propagated from a leaf I pinched from the park. Another Nandina firepower. I've got a hydrangea there. Hollyhocks. That's not going to work out very well. I don't know what I was thinking. There's not enough room for a hollyhocks height-wise. This is, I think, our nectarine tree. We've never really had fruit off it, but it's the first thing that starts blooming in the middle of July, and I just love it for that reason. Self-seeded Linearia. And I've put in a few shrubs. That's like a type of geranium, and I don't know what that is. It was given to me as cuttings by friends. Oh, I nearly dropped my umbrella. Here there's just like barbecue crap, and then our bins which have our house number on, so I won't show them to you. You can hear the heating going. It's a cold day. And then this area is going to be the pool area, which makes me kind of want to run away screaming, because you see that piece of wall there? That like, hang on, let me wedge my umbrella. That wall is like waist height, and that is the top of a pile of stones and rubble. So all of this is going to have to be cleared out because we want a concrete pad poured so we can put our like temporary pool there in the summer. And I said to Grant he needs to like hire a digger, get in here and just level everything and just pour the concrete over the top. I don't know if you can do that, but the thought of clearing all of this is extremely daunting. Like if it was just plants and stuff, not a problem, but I mean you can see there's like piles and piles of rocks and stones that we've cleared from other areas of the garden, and it's just been dumped there. I don't know what we were thinking. Anyway, that takes us back to the front. So I'm going to go around. Normally I end my tour here, but I want to end it by the back door because I want to show you I have some flowers that have just opened. My friend Christina gave me some bulbs, and I just popped them into a dollar store pot and ignored them over the winter, and now they're opening and I'm so thrilled with them. So thank you, Christina, if you're watching this. So that is my winter garden tour. I hope you enjoyed this. I will link the playlist here if you want to see the rest of my garden tours. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.